Come to England for the racing, they said, but not for the weather. Welcome, race fans, to the 2023 British Grand Prix qualifying here at the historic Silverstone circuit. The skies have opened up. However, big news headed into this weekend that is shooken up the grid. And let's dive right into that before we go to our practice report. Mick Schumacher did not re-sign with Toyota Racing. Toyota Racing's reliability issues with their lead driver, Keita Watanabe, has led to them not having enough money to afford Schumacher's contract renewal, which means that he is out of this season, which meant that the team has signed reserve driver Nobuharu Matsushita as their number 2 for the remainder of the season on a $2 million contract. Huge developments. Schumacher putting in some really good performances for Toyota throughout the season, but what can the reserve driver Matsushita do as Toyota returned to an all-Japanese lineup? Practice 1 and Practice 2, Watanabe had the upper hand as Matsushita, still trying to get used to the car. This would be his first running in the TF112 on track all year, so he will be acclimatizing around this Grand Prix as Watanabe consistently making it into the top 10. And here we go. Here's the setup that Watanabe will be running this weekend. And, of course, Silverstone. Not downforce, a little essential in the second sector, but some very long straights and some medium-speed corners throughout the circuit. Alpine jumped Williams in the constructors in the pecking order. However, Toyota still the 4th fastest car on paper. However, rain in qualifying, but a dry race on Sunday. Here we go, heading towards Maggots and Beckett's, and this is the driver's first running in the wet, and as you can see, there we go. That's the disadvantage of not having any time to understand the characteristics of these cars in the wet around Silverstone. That poor run through Maggots and Beckett's compromised his run. Watanabe crosses the line, 6th at the moment. Watanabe going again for another lap, 6/10 up on his previous time. He's down in the drop zone. He has to clear at least 2 cars. He's up by about 8/10. So is that enough? No, it isn't. Watanabe is out of Q1 by a 10th behind Lance Stroll. And Matsushita makes it into P12, a respectable start, making it out of Q1. However, he can have the bragging rights over the lead driver. Watanabe's been driving this car since the beginning of the year. So this is some horrific news. And after some drama in the team over those past week, that's not how you want it to go. Welcome, race fans. It's sunny skies, a rarity here in the UK, but good it came out now for another British Grand Prix, the 2023 British Grand Prix to be exact, and this race has been held at this venue since the inception of the Formula 1 calendar. The British Grand Prix has been a fixture in F1, and let's see if Silverstone can deliver on those results. And here's the track map around a former World War II airbase is some very iconic corners. You can't forget Maggots and Beckett's, Stowe, and of course, we can't forget Copse Corner, where Valtteri Bottas pulled a fantastic move on his teammate Lewis Hamilton in 2019. And here we go to your starting grid, and Valtteri Bottas, having seized the lead of the Drivers' Championship from Lewis Hamilton last time out in Austria, he'll be hoping to carry his form, and can he get the upper hand on his teammate at his home Grand Prix here in Silverstone? Lewis Hamilton is very successful around the circuit. I mean, he has the main straight has been named after him, so let's see if he can find any form. But what can Watanabe do, having been compromised in qualifying with a poor showing? Here we go, here's your starting grid for the British Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton in P1, Valtteri Bottas P2 is an all-Mercedes front row. Bottas looking to get a good run heading into Abbey. Here we go, Verstappen 3rd, Norris 4th, then Daniel Ricciardo 5th, and Fernando Alonso in P6. Then we got Charles Leclerc 7th, Sainz 8th for Ferrari, Ocon 9th, and Nobuharu Matsushita up in the top 10. A really good qualifying, considering it's his first running in that car. Gasly 11th, Gio 12th, Perez on a grid penalty down in 13th, and Lance Stroll promoted to 14th place. You have Vettel 15th, Keita Watanabe 16th, poor qualifying for the Japanese driver, Latifi 17th, and Yuki Tsunoda in 18th, Zhou Guanyu 19th, Sato 20th, Mazepin 21st, and George Russell down the grid with grid penalties at the back for the hometown favorite. Here we go. This is your starting grid. What can our drivers do around this circuit? 5 red lights. The driver's raring to go. Can Hamilton get a good run off the line? It's the lights off, and away we go. And Bottas gets an exceptional start. Hamilton's a little bogged down. Watanabe's made it past both Aston Martins, ending into Abbey, sailing around Giovinazzi, unable to get by Perez. He's starting on the medium tires as everyone around him is on the softs, diving down into village we go, and towards the loop. He's side by side of his new teammate, Matsushita, and he's giving him the squeeze. He's showing who's boss around his team, and Watanabe up the grid. Here goes Sergio Perez. He's got a great run out of Magnus and Beckett. Down the hanger straight we go. And Perez side by side with Matsushita. Down the inside the Red Bull goes. Squeezing Matsushita out on the exit. And that is a place gain for the Red Bull. Now he's gaining on Watanabe, who's struggling on those medium tires. Everyone around him, you see a little snap. The rear end there. All the drivers on the grid pretty much starting on the softs ahead of him. So he's going to be struggling for grip at this stage as he's unable to get the tires warm up. Through Abbey he goes, and here a little snap again, a little bit of oversteer, and Perez is going to sail around the outside, diving into village we go, and side by side the Red Bull and the Toyota are going. They're fighting for scraps at this point for a P11. Watanabe goes a little wide though, unable to get the grip, and Perez sails by up into 11th, but Watanabe in 12th and hounded by his teammates. Through the loop we go, heading down towards the Wellington Straight, and he's going to get the DRS on Pierre Gasly, who has, without DRS, going to be a sitting duck. Gasly defends the inside. Watanabe is going to sail around the outside into Brooklands, and that is a sensational move by the Toyota. He's been recovering well. Can he get the move done on the Alpine of Esteban Ocon? Heading down into Vale, and down the inside he goes. Through Club, and there's the move done and dusted. Watanabe up into the points. A great recovery drive. And that's the Alfa Romeo of Yuki Tsunoda parked on Stowe, and that's a huge impact of his teammate Marino Sato. Safety car, unsurprisingly, has been deployed, and Watanabe, but that might play poorly into his strategy hands of going long on the medium tires. Let's look at the replay. Let's see what happened. Matsushita here, heading out of Magnus and Beckett. Oh, there's a puncture, a rear left puncture for the new Toyota driver, and this is a terrible way to start his career with Toyota. Slowly going through Stowe, and that's the impact. Tsunoda not knowing about the puncture, his team not communicating with him about the thing, and now he's gone and collided with his former team.
Yeah, idiot, this guy.
Nothing Tsunoda really could have done there, unfortunately, and that's the impact of Sato, and there are going to be words between these two friends over what happened, not knowing what happened, and of course the safety car is deployed of 2 cars and a load of carbon fiber. Here we go. All the soft tire runners ahead of Watanabe are pitting, so Watanabe will take the lead of the Grand Prix. But has Toyota perhaps pulled a bit of a strategy blunder here? They will gain track position, but they're on some worn medium tires compared to all the other drivers who have a chance to warm up their new medium tires. Should Toyota have hit Watanabe on that lap onto maybe softs or hards? We'll have to see if Watanabe can cope with the pressure. And that's Charles Leclerc, fresh out of the pits on fresh medium tires, and that's his engine going up through Brooklands.
Problem, engine.
We'll come back to you.
Oh, that's gone.
And that's so unfortunate for the Ferrari drivers. He pulls into the old pit exit. Down the hanger straight we go. Slowly, Watanabe is becoming the de facto safety car. He's trying to warm up the tires, trying to make sure that he can get the jump on the others, and he's going slow because hopefully he can nullify all the tire warm-up all the drivers behind him have been doing on their medium tires throughout the safety car period, so that way when he gets the ideal launch, their tires are cold and they'll need at least another lap to warm them up. Here we go towards Vale. When is Watanabe going to put the pedal to the metal and try to extend the gap between him and Valtteri Bottas, who's been on it all week, all race long at this point? Here we go, through Club, and there's the acceleration we got. Watanabe accelerating off the line onto the Hamilton straight we go, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like it's worked. The drivers have managed to keep their tires warm. Watanabe goes wide through Abbey, and here goes Valtteri Bottas looking to sail around and jump the Toyota driver, but Toyota comes back at him, squeezing him through Village. Towards the loop we go, side by side still. Watanabe has the inside line. Bottas is going to have to try and go around the outside, but Watanabe gets the better exit out of the corner and better acceleration, and he holds the position on Valtteri Bottas. But for how much longer can he hold this up? Towards the hanger straight we go, down it we go, and Max Verstappen is looking to contest Valtteri Bottas, so Bottas is going to have to turn the offense into defense. Watanabe sails around through Stowe, and Bottas gets jumped by Verstappen. And now looks like another engine failure for Daniel Ricciardo, who pulls up to where Charles Leclerc backed off. And Max Verstappen is contact with the side of the Toyota through the exit of Beckett's, down of Chapel, down towards the hangar straight we go. And it's going to be, looks like it's going to be 3 wide. Hamilton, see if he can get in on the party. Bottas jumps Verstappen. Hamilton jumps Verstappen. Was there damage for Verstappen? And there is! The Red Bull is hitting on this lap. So there must have been front wing damage with the Toyota. So let's look back at what happened with Daniel Ricciardo. Flying high in 7th place, and yeah, look, the engine just blows up, similar kind of to Leclerc, around the same part of the track. But unfortunately, Ricciardo will have his race ending early for the British McLaren team.
I have an issue, but no drive. Yeah, I can't accelerate. Copy.
And here's the move with Max Verstappen through Beckett's, heading towards Chapel at this point. And there's a little tap with the wheel, but this doesn't seem to really be any damage. But clearly the Red Bulls have seen something. Barreling down the hangar straight we go. Bottas is in the slipstream. He has the DRS. Watanabe deploying tons of battery to try and compensate against the front-running charge of the Silver Arrows. He squeezes Hamilton wide, and that opens the door for Sergio Perez to seize the position. Hamilton will not be happy about that. Through Chapel, down the hangar straight, Perez is very close to Watanabe, and with the DRS, Watanabe will show he gets swarmed by Perez and Hamilton, and he does. He's a sitting duck on the hangar straight. Hamilton down the inside of Perez, hoping to return the favor to the Red Bull driver on the previous lap. They're side by side, heading into Vale, and is that going to open the door for Watanabe to make a move? He's trying to see if he can find an opening, and there's a move for Lando Norris that wasn't on, and he disrupts Watanabe's momentum completely, and now he has to defend against Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, and that is definitely going to be either side pod or at least floor damage for the Toyota driver. Let's look at the replay here. Yeah, what is Lando doing? I think that's on Lando on that incident. The gap was not on for the McLaren driver, who was hoping to make a place. He does make a place. Will he have to give the position back? He might even have front wing damage, perhaps, with that huge contact and Watanabe nearly going sideways.
What the f is this doing?
Yeah, Lando is very mad, but Watanabe is even more. And Watanabe vulnerable against Carlos Sainz, so clearly any side pod damage is causing unwanted drag on that Toyota race car. Down into Stowe we go. Wide goes Watanabe, and there we go. He's entering the pit lane for his mandatory pit stop. And this is perhaps not played into Watanabe's hands. He is going to be on the softs. He is going to have better tires in comparison to all those on the grid. A step softer than most on the grid. But Silverstone is one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar, so he's going to lose a lot of time, which he wouldn't have lost if he had pit under the safety car. So was sticking to their ideal strategy for track position not worth it for Toyota, as they had lost many positions once the other drivers behind them got their tires warmed up. But Watanabe is down the order now. He's falling down. He's putting on the softs, not aided by a slowish pit stop from his team. Now exiting the pit lane he goes, and he's only in P15, so he's got a lot of work to do in a few laps just to make it back into the points. He's closing up the Mazepin now. Mazepin shuts the door on him through Chapel. He shuts the door on him again down the hangar straight. But with DRS and ERS, the Toyota will easily make it back past the Haas. And apparently there was contact with Mazepin, but that's the move done and dusted. And now Zhou Guan Yu is his next target. Down the inside into Village he goes, and that is a textbook move on the Chinese driver. And now Watanabe's up into P13, but can he close up to Max Verstappen, who is absolutely flying? Penultimate lap we go, and Matsushita up in P9 after that puncture. It's all worked out for the Japanese driver. Can he score points on his debut? We'll wait and see as Verstappen gets the DRS and the slipstream down the Wellington Straight, and that is an easy move for the Red Bull driver up into P9. Valtteri Bottas, he's taken the championship lead, and now he gets another blow on his teammate, snatching the home Grand Prix win away from his teammate, as Valtteri Bottas wins the British Grand Prix, and Watanabe loses it on the final turn. He keeps the car running though, and that is a accurate way to end what has been a dismal weekend, a dismal week for Toyota, losing Schumacher, losing a spot in Q2 and now losing a spot in the points. But Valtteri Bottas has not lost anything. He's only gained this weekend with another win to add to his repertoire and more points to his championship. Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez complete our podium. McLaren, Lando Norris, P4, so he did not have any front wing damage, but Watanabe and Toyota will surely want to dispute that. A lot of DNFs, which has allowed Nobuharu Matsushita to take a solitary point on his debut for Toyota. So while Watanabe's weekend's been horrid, Matsushita's has only gone in a positive direction. No change really in the constructors and in the drivers. Valtteri Bottas gains a bigger lead over his teammate Lewis Hamilton. And that is the end of this part of the season. We head to the Belgian Grand Prix next after the summer break. And hopefully you can join us for what will no doubt be an exquisite race around Spa-Francorchamps. But for now, that's it from us. Goodbye.